This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and Our Kings. Delighted to be joined with Billy Nelson here on a nice Monday morning. New year, new start. Yeah, how's things? How are you, mate?
All good, mate. All good. The New Year's already started. We've not had a day off. We had Christmas day off. That was it. We've got some big fights coming up in the new year. Lewis Crocker on the 1st of March. I've got Sean Lazzarini out twice, January, February. Luke Bibby's out February, March. So very, very busy.
Well, just I guess I'll start on that. Did you have a good? I know you was in Saudi, but had a good Christmas and New Year.
It was quiet. I spent it with the family, so it's all about family, isn't it? It's all about family this time of the year.
Definitely. Well, I'll firstly touch on obviously being in Saudi. You obviously had Luke Bibby out on the Wednesday. Yeah, I mean a great opportunity from a great experience. Obviously now led to him being signed by Goldstar as well. So yeah, I guess how did that all come about and the importance, I guess, for him to put a statement on such a big platform?
Well, I've been friendly with Spencer Brown for 20 plus years. Uh, and we speak regular. Um, and he said to me, he says, because he met Luke over in Los Angeles. Luke came over with Martin for the Jared Anderson fight, and he was sparring a Mongolian boy in the Ten Goose gym, and done particularly well with him. And that guy is an exceptionally good fighter, and it took the eye of Spencer. And Spencer, it's quite funny. Spence and I were talking about him on the Monday. On the Tuesday, we agreed to sign with him. And on the Wednesday, he phoned and said, "You want to fight in Saudi Arabia next week?"
Wow. Yeah, as you say, like for himself to do that as well, great experience for Luke as well. For I know he's kept active this year, but it shows that it's all sort of paid off when you do get an opportunity like that.
100%. I wish every fighter was like Luke Bibby with the respect. Do you know what it reminds me? A younger Ricky Burns. His dedication
Mhm.
to the sport is second to none. He's always fit. I mean, it's embarrassing that he's got a six pack 24/7, 365 days a year. It's, I don't like him.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I guess just touching on Saudi Arabia there. It's been about I guess a few weeks now since Tyson Fury Oleksandr Usyk. Don't know if you had much time to watch the fight in Saudi. But yeah, I guess what did you make of the rematch between Fury and Usyk?
Well, I scored a draw. I thought it was very close. There was never 4 rounds in it to either guy. No, I couldn't agree with the score. I'm sorry. Like I say, I had it a draw. It was that close. I couldn't have argued if the judges went around each way to either guy, or 2 rounds, but certainly not 4 rounds. It was that too close a fight for that.
When people make claims that say like, "Oh, look, Fury was robbed," or Fury won, do you think you see sort of a case to make Tyson Fury a winner potentially?
Like I say, I mean, I could have had a case for both of them to win, but marginally, marginally, it
Yeah.
was that close for me.
Mhm. I guess now, sort of touching on that subject there, what do you think is next? Or I guess focusing on a Fury point of view, what do you think is next for Tyson Fury? I know obviously Anthony Joshua has come out and say, "Look, we're aiming for Tyson Fury." Do you think that that's sort of the next gradual step between for the two fighters?
To be fair, that's all that's there, isn't it now? It's a
Yeah.
massive, massive commercial fight. Uh, Both of them will make themselves a lot of money, and I think both of them could retire after it.
Mhm.
Certainly the loser will.
I think it's an interesting one. Obviously, I heard Simon Jordan on Talk Sport, and he said, he called it the battle of the losers. Do you think that's a bit of a disrespectful claim, like to make over them two fighters who've, I guess, given so much to the sport?
Very much so, because both of them have lost in elite fights.
Mhm.
Maybe not so much Anthony Joshua with Daniel. Daniel's not proved he's still an elite fighter yet, but certainly against Usyk, he lost twice against Usyk. There's no shame losing to Usyk whatsoever. He's a fantastic fighter, as is Anthony and Tyson Fury. So
Mhm.
to say that is a bit disrespectful, especially as you've not done it yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think that there is some point of frustration though when it comes to that fight with the fact that that they could have obviously they could have it's a good example they could have fought when they both had their heavyweight world titles and that fight was always going to be there. But do you look back on some frustration that look we could have had that when they were both sort of thrown undisputed?
Well, they're only fighting now because of Turkey Al Sheikh. They're not fighting if both were still with their respective promoters. The chances of happening slim to none.
Yeah.
When they were both, Matchroom and Queensbury, I don't think that fight would have ever happened because of egos. But now they've been beat. I think that's the next fight, maybe August, September time.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to stick on the topic of heavyweight division. We've got to talk about your man Martin Bakole. Obviously he's obviously the Ajagba fight's still there. Guess what is the latest with the potential of him fighting Efe Ajagba?
He's fighting Efe Ajagba. We've got our date, we've got our venue. It'll be announced very soon, and you won't be disappointed. Great top of the bill. We're co-main event, and there could be a potential another world title fight on it as well, potentially.
I guess for so long now, and you see the way the heavyweight division's moving, especially at the top of the tree, with not too sure what's going on with Oleksandr Usyk or his next step. And I know this is for the IBF, which that's being contested in February 22nd. But it must be exciting knowing that finally you're getting that opportunity, and the doors are sort of coming down now, which you've been trying to knock down for many years. There must be sort of some happiness knowing that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and all Martin's really got to do is just do the business.
Well, that's what we ever wanted. Martin will do the business. Martin, in my opinion, and people slag us after it, and I don't give a monkey shit what they think, because I know what he's done and what he's not done. But I believe Martin's the best heavyweight out there. He'll beat Oleksandr Usyk. Oleksandr Usyk knows the skill set Martin's got. And all we need is the opportunity. Martin will take care of the rest. Simple as that.
Do you think the Oleksandr? I know with people not too sure what's going on with Usyk. Do you think the Oleksandr Usyk fight will ever be there, or do you think it might be one of them ones where Usyk may retire before Martin gets there? I guess.
Most probably. I mean, with the fullest of respect, everybody's discounting Joseph Parker against Daniel Dubois to the peril, in my opinion. But if Daniel was to win, would you really want to see Daniel versus Usyk again? Because with the fullest of respect, he lost every round, didn't he? Every round, got dropped twice, quit on his knee. Do you deserve a rematch? No, you don't. Well, no, you don't. It doesn't. Not based on that performance. Although beating Anthony Joshua in the manner that he did, and if he was to do something similar against Joseph Parker, then you maybe earned the right for a rematch. But it'll be the same result because he couldn't lace Usyk's gloves. To be perfectly honest, he's not getting the boxing brain for it.
Just before I do touch on that, actually, I did want to ask you about Bakole and Ajagba. I know Anthony Joshua's been in Nigeria, and he actually was back in Ajagba to beat Bakole. I didn't know if you had any thoughts on that.
Well, there's a shocker. He's in Nigeria saying that a Nigerian's going to beat Bakole. Why say that somebody is going to beat Bakole when come and do it yourself? He was saying that he was going to fight Martin potentially in Kinshasa. No, he's not back to fight in Kinshasa. So why not come and do it yourself instead of asking other people to beat him? Ajagba won't beat Martin Bakole. Anderson is a better fighter than Efe Ajagba. Ajagba's a good fighter, but Martin will take care of him, and then hopefully we'll get a world title fight of some description.
Well, you mentioned Parker Dubois there. As you say, like from your thoughts, you think Parker's very, very live in this fight, you say?
Oh, very much so. His speed of feet and movement will give Daniel all sorts of trouble. And Daniel moves about like a big robot. Boom. Yeah. You just keep turning him all the time. But what he has improved on, his jab's improved a lot. And he was improved bundles under Don Charles, so fair play to him for that. But they know that Joseph Parker's not an easy fight. Don't get me wrong, I think he got Zhang and Wilder at a great time, especially Wilder, at a great time. So, and I have Daniel a slight favourite, purely based on he's been more active than Joe.
Yeah. From you saying that, do you think, from what you were saying previously, do you think Dubois still has a lot more to prove at world level then?
Oh, very much so.
Even beating Hrgović and AJ?
Hrgović quitting that fight. Hrgović quit. And who? AJ. Was that the AJ that you know?
I guess it's they have to look at the fashion that he done it in.
Well, I don't think he ever recovered for the first right hand in the first round, did he?
Yeah, true.
I think that had an effect on his legs the full 5 rounds or whatever the duration of the fight was. I'm sure it was 5. Uh, no, he done really well. He done really well. But listen, with the fullest of respect, it's a faded Anthony Joshua. He is on the downward spiral. Martin Bakole is very much in an upward spiral. And Daniel Dubois will never beat Martin Bakole.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you think ideally, let's say Dubois wins on the 22nd, and you beat Jagba, then that fight does happen? I know Park said before the Park fight likely, but if Dubois fights, you don't
No,
think that fight will happen?
yeah, I reckon the winner, Joe and Daniel, will fight Usyk.
Okay. So I mean, I know you spoke about the sparring before. Do you think that might have something to do with it, with Dubois maybe not choosing an option to fight Bakole?
Listen, I remember, I was told by somebody that they would advise Daniel to give up the title rather than fight Martin.
Well, that's. I guess is that frustrating to hear for yourself? Like, do you find that
Well,
frustrating knowing that, like,
of course it is, but I've said it all along. The golf and the sparring. People say sparring doesn't matter. When you've got a guy that's levels above the other guy, it does matter because you're taking a tanking with 18 or 20 ounce gloves on and a head guard. You're getting stopped. You're getting damaged. You're quitting, and then you're asked to fight him with 10 ounce gloves on. Would you be looking forward to that experience?
not particularly?
That's what
Yeah.
Daniel will be thinking as well.
And just, I guess, the last one on Dubois, and say the potential of a Martin fight. Do you still think, like, when people do say this about Dubois, him turning the corner in terms of his heart and not sort of looking for a way of fight? Do you still believe that, or do you still think that that's always going to be there?
Any boxer, any trainer, worth their salt will tell you once that's there, it will never leave you. Never ever leave you. Well, he done it against Usyk, didn't he? He done it with Joe. He done it with Usyk,
Yeah. Hmm.
and he very, very, very nearly done it against Larina.
Yeah.
But he has improved. Don't get me wrong, he has improved, but not
Yeah.
enough. Nowhere
Yeah.
near enough.
Yeah.
It's all right saying Daniel's improved since the last time they shared the ring with Martin. Do you think Martin Bakole's went back the way like?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Just before I do let you go, I'd be silly not to ask you about Lewis Crocker taking on Paddy Donovan. March the 1st, finally, obviously getting this fight on. Yeah, how excited are you for March the 1st? I guess to get this fight on and to see a great fight for the Belfast crowd.
Lewis Crocker is in the zone for this fight. He started before Christmas training. He went home and spent 3 days with his family, Christmas, and straight back here. He he's got a nutritionist, he's got a strength and conditioner on board, and his mindset is 100%. We're going to have some quality sparring coming up here. We've already got it arranged. We're going to start off with Lucky Luke Bibby, and then we're bringing in the sparring then for the weeks that we're going to spar, and I'm really looking forward to it. The best performance for Lewis Crocker
Hmm.
against Walker. It was 75, 80%. There was something missing in that fight, and still won
Yeah.
the fight.
Hmm.
And as good a great fight that it was. Conor Walker put up a great showing, but you're gonna see the true Lewis Crocker in this fight, I believe.
Yeah, and I was going to say, how important is that now that Lewis puts in that statement performance on a big, I guess, domestic grudge match? You could say
Well,
on the on.
it's a domestic fight, as in two Irishmen,
Yeah, of
but it's
course,
a
yeah.
final eliminator for a world title to fight
Yeah,
Boots
that's what I was going to
Ennis.
say. Yeah, yeah,
And a high probability is that Boots will probably move up to 154 after his next fight.
yeah.
And if he doesn't, then he's got to fight Lewis Crocker, and there's an opportunity a lifetime, isn't it?
Hmm. Absolutely, definitely. It's an exciting one. But Billy, as always, mate, a pleasure to speak to you. Always do appreciate you taking the time to catch up with me. And yeah, hopefully we won't be too long before we're catching up again with some exciting news, mate. So yeah, massively appreciate it, mate.
All the best, mate. Take
Top
care.
man, thank you.